Okay, still on the topic of forgetting, there are many reasons why we forget. First, is maybe because of the interference effects, maybe because of the motivated forgetting, maybe because of the distortions, maybe because of the false memory, maybe because of the moods, incompatible moods. When we encode the informations and we retrieve, and the information that we encode maybe is different with the moods. For example, we want to recall the information that's a negative, but our moods at the moment is positive or in the good mood. So can also affect our forgettings, where we forget the information. And first, we start with interference effects. Interference effects consist of two: proactive interference and retroactive interference. So, proactive interference is when prior learnings interfere with the remembering of the information we learned later. So, basically, proactive interference is the information that we learned previously interfere with the remembering of the information that we learned later. We tend to forget new information. That means the information that we learned later, and then tend to remember more information that we learned previously. So, for example, employee forgets the changes that were made to the system and still follow the old procedure. So that means they remember the old informations, but they forget new informations. Retro interference is when information learned later interfere with the remembering of the information that learned previously. So it's the opposite of proactive interference, but retro interference, the information that learned later interfere with the remembering of the information that learned previously, and we tend to forget all informations. If we tend to forget the information that we learned previously, that's is called retro interference. For example, it's stated here, employee get used to the new system and cannot recall how things were done previously. That means they forget the old informations or the information that learned previously, and they remember the informations that they learned later or currently. That's a retroactive interference. So another reason why we tend to forget is because of motivated forgetting. Occurs when a person consciously repress the memory or ideas or feeling they are unpleasant, or the person does not agree with. So sometimes when we have bad memory, when we have bad experience, we do not want to remember, we repress the bad memory. So that's what it says, motivated forgetting. For example, these memories, problematic memories, such as problematic issues, such as forgetting to make appointment with the dentist. So we tend to forget things that are considered unpleasant to us. For example, maybe we do not like to see the doctor, so we just tend to be busy with the study, try to busy ourselves with the study with other things, so that we forget what happened in the past, or we forget for example, our appointment with the dentist and so on. So the person is motivated not to remember. Like for example here, this motivated forgetting is one of the defense mechanism explained by Freud in the psychoanalytic theory. According to the Freud, some of the memories, especially the problematic one, the one that we didn't want to remember. For example, there are some people who got raped while they were a child, or maybe someone who got maybe there's a bad memory. For example, their parents passed away when they were when they were young, or there may be accident that caused them a loss of their limb and so on. So they didn't want to remember all those bad memories, so they try to repress all the memories so that they can live like a normal individuals. So that's motivated forgetting. That's mean individual motivate themselves not to remember the bad memories so that they can live like an individual. If they still remember about the past experience or the past event that affect them negatively, they cannot be able to live like a normal individual. This will affect their day life, so they do not want to remember that, so they experience this motivated forgetting. That's what it says here. Motivated forgetting. The person is motivated not to remember, so they can be able to live like a normal individual. If not, they tend to maybe experience depressions, anxiety, and many other things. So this is considered actually good also for individual in order to functions or to behave like a normal individual. Next, forgetting is distortions. Uh, Distortions occurs when a person is not exposed to the information for a long time. So let's say you learn some informations while you are in the primary school, and then after long times you may lose some of the informations. You may forget some of the informations because you're not exposed to the information for a long time. So there's distortions. So for example, in the court, witnesses may forget some of the earlier informations when event happens after a long period of time. For example, when let's say you study this subject maybe when you were in the primary school or secondary school, and suddenly you have to people ask you these questions regarding those information that you learned long time ago. So because you are not exposed to that information for a long time, you tend to have a distortions regarding the information that you cannot remember the information. That's common, isn't it? One way reason why we tend to forget most of the information. Next is false memory. False memory is related to the distortion also, but also involve error in remembering the schemas in which a person has grouped the experience. False memory also may be because you when you maybe because you when you store the information, you store the information wrongly. You involve error in remembering the schemas. That means the link to memorize or to recall the information. Maybe there's an error for you. There's error. That's why you cannot retrieve the informations. For example, a person may have 5 years old schemas of working days. For example, maybe you come early in the morning and have a coffee and have a meeting. So this may be this company practiced long time ago. Nowadays they didn't they haven't carry out this practice anymore. So a person who always do this, for example, their routines coming to the office and then have a drink and have a meeting, and after a long time the company haven't have this kind of routine, and this person still have this kind of practice even though it has been left by the company. Maybe the company didn't encourage anymore their employees to do this, but still this person still remember and still practice or still doing it. So this person may have the 5 years old schemas of working in the organization. That means that's because of distortion, and because error in remembering the schemas or remembering the way they store the information, so difficult for them to retrieve or to recall the information. For example, it's given here if flextime. Flextime is referring to the flexibility that been given by the company to start working either to at what time. For example, normally people go to work at for example 9 to 5, but sometimes if the company provide flex time, there are many different ways of flex time, but most of the time company allow the employees to come, for example, come late and going home late. For example, if they come at 10, they may have to stay back until 7 or 8 p.m. Then they can go back. Normal people, they come to work at 9 and then finish at 5. So those who come at 10, for example, need to finish at 6. Those who come at 11 need to finish at 8 o'clock. Then they can go back. So that's kind of flexibility sometimes be given to the company, to the employees on certain basis, maybe because of the problems. For example, because the employees feel physically tired, or because of lack of sleeps and so on. So forced memory sometimes, so if flex time and new work schedule are introduced, memory related to old schedule may upset the coordinated functioning of the department. So maybe long time ago, these employees used to follow just going to work at 9 and then finish at 5. So after sometimes the company may allow their employees to start at 10, finish at 6, or to start at 11, finish at 7, for example, or they have to work on the shift basis. So employees who forget their original times of coming to work may also have a problem related to false memories. So that's why it said false memory is basically referring to the information that are not exposed to them for a long time, or maybe because of error in retrieving the information that they stored. Another thing is affects our forgetting is moods. According to textbook, mood also can interfere with memory if coding did not involve congruence between learning moods and the content of the information. Basically, what it says here is I mentioned in the beginning that moods play a significant role in enhance our memory. If our mood is good, normally we tend to remember more positive information. If our mood is bad, we tend to forget more negative information. So let's say at the moment we want to retrieve many bad informations, but our mood is positive or in a good mood. So it's not congruent. The moods at the moment with the moods of the information that we stored a long time ago is different. So we tend to have a problem in recalling the informations because of the moods do not congruence with the contents of information that we store, so that we want to retrieve. If we want to retrieve the information that relate to the positive informations, so our mood according to this textbook should be also positive positive. If it is negative, then if our mood is negative and we want to recall the information that is positive, then our moods with the content of information is not congruent. So, and also, for example, depressive and happy mood. So, depressive and a happy mood is not congruent. Depressive is something bad. Happy is something good. So the information or this thing is not jive, it's not congruent. So may impair or may restrict the retrieval of informations. That's maybe the reason why we forget. Also, another thing also depend on the deficiency in the attentions. Of course, our attentions is very important. When we learn something, we need to pay attention. Without paying attention, we may forget. We may miss some of the information that being conveyed to us. So, deficiency in the attention deficiency mean our lack in the intentions, or our lack in the cognitive initiative to facilitate the recall of the informations may also be affected because of we didn't focus to the information. We didn't listen. We have a deficiency in the attention. That may contribute to our inability to withdraw or to recall the informations. And okay, we're moving to language. Language, I'm going to cover in the next part regarding language.